Whether you're looking into using ClickUp, you're already on the platform, or you work with one of its competitors, you've probably heard of ClickUp 3.0. After being announced in 2022, it has finally rolled out fully to the public in Q4 of 2023. They started rolling it out earlier this year, so I've been using it for a little bit of time prior to its full release to the public, and I'm gonna walk through some of the big changes and some of my favorite features. We're gonna dive into three primary areas. The first is gonna be the overall aesthetic and usability. I'm gonna talk about the design, what the experience is like using the platform, and some of the things that they've changed about the interfaces. Then section 2, we're gonna dive into organization and efficiency and cover all of the things that will affect you and your team's workflow. And then we're gonna take a look at the innovation and expansion that ClickUp has brought to 3.0, all of the new things that you didn't see in ClickUp prior to this release. I am going to be covering mostly updates, so if you're not familiar with a platform like ClickUp, or you didn't use 2.0, you might wanna get a little bit familiar before you watch this video so you can see what's changed. I've absolutely loved ClickUp since I started using it in 2.0, and I'm loving 3.0 even more. And by the end of this video, you'll know if you will too. So let's dive in. So we're gonna start out here on the home screen, and I am in a workspace that's more of a personal workspace, but I have other workspaces that I use to work with various clients. So all of the features I'm going to cover are features that I use in real life application. One of the major overhauls that ClickUp made to the home screen is that they went with a modular card approach so that you can take a look at what information is important to you and get rid of everything else, which I really love. So each of these are cards. I love this little layer of personalization, but these cards right now, you can see I've got the recent tasks that I've engaged with, my agenda for the day, which includes recording this video, my lineup, and as I scroll down, I've got my assigned to me and a couple of others. Now, if I don't need all of this, all I need to do is either go to edit layout, where I can move the placement of these cards and build it out the way I want. But if I wanted to add or remove cards, when I hit manage cards, you'll see all of the cards that are available. Right now, I just have them all added, but you can really tailor this to whatever is going to work best for you. The overall interface upgrade is super clean. ClickUp is now a place that I really love and enjoy being in. It feels creative, and everything that you need is at your fingertips. You'll see you've got a couple of options when it comes to pinning things like your favorites. Right now I have them pinned in a row along the top banner, but if I unpin it, it'll just pop up in this left sidebar. You have full customization over whether or not you see the sidebar and along. And this kind of visual customization is something that the ClickUp team clearly was very intentional about when they were overhauling and making 3.0. I'll cover a little bit more of that as we dive into it. The settings have also moved to this top right corner, right next to the quick action menu, which we're gonna dive into later in the video. But from here, you can access your profile, change your themes up, your settings, notification settings, and overall, I just love the amount of accessibility that you have right here from anywhere in the platform when it comes to customizing things that you'd want to change. One of the big additions that has a huge impact on user experience and accessibility is the addition of these hubs in your left sidebar. You'll notice we have home, we have our inbox, we've also got a space for docs, dashboards, and whiteboards, but if we come and hit more, we also have spaces that we can pin for pulse as well as goals. Again, love the customization that you have there, and having these hubs makes it really easy for you to access whatever it is that you're looking to look at, whether it's a dashboard, whiteboard, etc. When in 2.0, you had to actually go to where that view lived. If you had a whiteboard, you had to go to where that whiteboard was hosted at, whatever level of the hierarchy it was at to access it. But this way, you can see all of your whiteboards in a single place, which I think is really cool. You also have some additional customization around how you see all of your whiteboards by being able to customize these columns and the information that they show. And to top it all off, in 3.0, ClickUp introduced a universal search that you can use to look for anything in your workspace, but you can also use it to search with connected apps. So for example, if I come into the search and I go to connect an app, you've got a couple of different apps that you can add that work with universal search. So when you connect, say, your Google Drive account, any assets that are in your drive, you can search for them directly from the ClickUp search menu. It also kind of replaces your Spotlight search if you're on a Mac, because I can come here and look up, for example, apps. I have Loom downloaded on this Mac, and I can actually start using it and running commands directly from ClickUp, which is pretty cool. And this is a feature that is all about vision. So I'm gonna come over here to this content space that I have, and you'll notice that at this level of the hierarchy in the space level, I have a little bit of a different view than I had in 2.0. And again, it kind of follows that same kind of card structure that they introduced in the home screen. I have a place for recent tasks, recent lists that are within this level of the hierarchy. I have a space for relevant docs that are within this level of the hierarchy, or I can add any that might be relevant. And resources, I can actually add files wherever they might be hosted if they are imperative and relevant to this level of the hierarchy. You also have the same kind of overview when you're looking at a folder or any level of the hierarchy that contains anything in it, so specifically spaces and folders. You can see all of the folders that are within this space, and you also can take a look at the lists that are contained in this space, but not the ones that are in the folders within this space. I think it's super cool that you have some customization here to be able to change the colors, but also see the progress and adjust the information that you have about the lists that are within this level of the hierarchy. Now, you know that ultimately when you get down into it, ClickUp's primary feature is the ability to add tasks. So we're gonna go and take a look at one right now. ClickUp has fundamentally changed the way that you can view tasks in a way that I think works really well. So we're gonna open up this task right here, and you'll see it open up in a way that's very similar to what you were used to in 2.0. But in ClickUp 3.0, you've got a couple of options around how you view tasks, and these are going to be accessed through this switch layout button in the top right corner. And you'll see we got three options. This is going to be the default, takes up a lot of the real estate on your screen, but not the entirety of it. But you can also switch to full screen, where it does take up all of the real estate that's on your screen. And additionally, you've got this sidebar view. I love this sidebar view just because it helps keep the task that you're looking at in the context of the list that it's in and the view that it's in. So if you had tasks that maybe are dependent on information that you have stored in other tasks, or you just want to keep the overall context in mind as you're referencing information in a task, you can do so really easily from the sidebar view, and I love it. This becomes especially useful in another area that had some major overhaul to it, which is going to be your inbox. When you come into your inbox now, as you can see, I don't have anything in my important tab, but you have different tabs that are ClickUp's attempt or ClickUp's way of helping segment the notifications that you get. So the things that will pop up in important are typically reactions to comments, any times that you are directly tagged in a comment, or any major changes to tasks that you might have created or be a watcher on. When you come to other, you've got things like tasks being overdue, any minor changes like status being changed or things of that nature. And you have a lot more control than you had in 2.0 around what you see. You can filter based on any time something was assigned to you, anytime something was mentioned and you were mentioned in a task, or anything that is unread. Now, if you have a notification here, it's really easy to take some quick actions. You can clear it, you can mark it as read, you can snooze it, and you have tabs for those as well to make sure that you don't actually lose anything that you might have already cleared. I've found myself using the inbox a lot more in 3.0 than I used in 2.0 just because of these customization options and not having to dive into as much noise that isn't relevant to me. Now, once you're in here, it's very easy for you to come into a task. You can see what the notification is for, but you can also come into details or just click the task name and it'll actually pop up. And again, you can switch that layout to keep it in the context of the notification that you're looking at, or if you want to dive straight into the task, you can choose how you want to engage with it. Now, I want to dive a little bit deeper into these hubs just so you can see what they look like. In the Docs hub, again, this card structure with really easy tools to find exactly what it is that you're looking for. You've got filtering options that are really robust. You've got search options, and it's the same for your dashboards as well as your whiteboards. I love the degree of customization you have to see what is coming from where and the information that is most relevant to you at any given moment. One other thing that ClickUp added to filtering options is the ability to go ahead and create filtered. Now, when you are looking at a ClickUp list, again, that customization around the information that you see extends to how they reworked list views and just views overall in ClickUp 3.0. You can collapse the header if you don't need any of the information that is relevant for this level of the hierarchy. Of course, you can add a description, you can change the color, but if you don't need those options, you can go ahead and hide them. And then you've got your options for grouping, subtask filtering, all of those as well, but that can be hidden if you really want to just keep your focus on the contents of this space. Filters are something that I use a ton in ClickUp in various different views, one of the most powerful features. And one thing that they did do to overhaul how filters work is allow the ability for you to actually group filters in a way that you couldn't in 2.0. So for example, if I only wanted to see the tasks here that are in this active category, I can go ahead and couple that with another filter that, let's say, is going to be the due date as of in the next 7 days. And now for that entire filter, I can adjust whether or not that is an and or an or, and I can do the same for some additional groupings as well, which makes it really easy for you to add some more complex filtering in a way that you just couldn't do in 2.0. On top of filtering, I also rely pretty heavily on automations for like my client and workflows. And automations got an upgrade as well. Now you've got some more customization options when it comes to automations, including whether or not an automation will only fire for task, subtask, or both. The team is also continuously adding options for what customizations you have for automations when it comes to triggers as well as actions. Now, in the context of organization, ClickUp has grown hip to the fact that people are using tasks in ClickUp for all sorts of things other than just tasks that need to be completed. I've used tasks in ClickUp as CRM entries, information storage in the repositories, or even just to list out resources that are available to myself or the team. To accommodate this, ClickUp made a pretty major change. When you come into a task, you now can have some custom options for what the type of task this is. So when you come in, all you have to do is hit task. You can see these different task types. This is entirely new in 3.0, and it gives you a wide range of customization when it comes to what a task represents. You can change the iconography, you can change the name of the task. So in this case, if we were doing a CRM build out, singular name, this will be person, plural name, this would be people. Already got it ready for me, and I can go ahead and change the description. So now if I create this task type, when I go to create a task, I hit this little arrow and I can change what kind of task this is, and of course manage the task types that I've already created. This is really powerful for filtering views to ensure that when you're looking at a higher level of the hierarchy, or any level really, you're only looking at what is relevant for your intentions and your purposes in that view. Another cool thing that they're doing to support that is at the list level and label. To support that now, when you come to the list level, you can actually change what the default task type is. So if you have a space or you have a folder that contains a list that is a CRM or that is a database, and you know that every task that goes into that will fit that task type, you can set it there by default. While this is something that you can actually filter for in views, I'm really looking forward to ClickUp embedding this in automations, because at the moment, at the time of recording, you can't actually fire automations specifically for various different task types. Now let's dive into some of the new innovative features that are new in 3.0, never before seen in ClickUp. One of the other navigation tools that's added in ClickUp 3.0 didn't exist before that I love is going to be this quick action menu. When we open this up, you'll see we have various different actions that we'd be very likely to take at any given moment while we're in ClickUp available here, including taking a look at the tasks that are assigned to us, our calendar, tracking time, etc. We can pin any of these and they will just pop up next to the menu for some very quick access. This is also going to be where we can access the majority of the new innovations that were added in 3.0, including the App Center, the Template Center, and the Custom Field Manager. They also have access Click Apps as well. I'm going to start and dive into the App Center. I really love the addition here because it makes an easy way for you to browse through all of the integrations and all of the potential app connections that are available to you in ClickUp. And since the addition of this, I found myself and my team using a lot more of these than we even knew we could use. The tools in here include time tracking tools, automation tools like Make and Zapier, communication tools like Slack, and of course, this is going to be a growing list as ClickUp enters into more new partnerships. Now, coming back, we've got the Template Center. This is super powerful for being able to take a look at what templates you've created, where they're at, and again, being able to filter in a couple of different ways based on who created them, any associated tags that you've got. And if you're looking through ClickUp templates, they will add a use case so that you know what you're looking for and where it might be. When you come into a template, you've got a lot of information around the access, who has access to it or not, when it was created, when it was last used and last updated, as well as all of the things that make this template unique. One thing I would love to see as ClickUp 3.0 and ClickUp in general continues to develop is being able to check out what this template looks like in a more natural way that more closely resembles how you see various different views, different tasks, different lists. As of right now, all you have to see what this template might be is what it includes, as well as a picture, but I'd love to be able to almost dive into the template in the same way that you might dive into a website template and see what the layout looks like. One of the most powerful new additions, at least for me, is going to be this custom field manager. When I was creating custom fields in 2.0, I was actually pretty frustrated by the inability to make adjustments easily to where a custom field lived, whether it was in this space or that space or this level of the hierarchy. And in 3.0, the custom field manager makes that super easy. I can dive into, let's say, this custom field, and I can very easily see, okay, a description for it, what's its name, what's its type, but now I can also change and see the locations. So I can add this field to any location that I have here. And so now instead of being stuck at this list level, I can also add it to a space, a higher level of the hierarchy, or even just another list at the adjacent level of the hierarchy, which is great. And probably one of the biggest new additions to ClickUp 3.0 is the addition of AI. Of course, they had to get into artificial intelligence, and I love the way ClickUp has integrated it in the platform because it's not just your typical use cases. So if we go ahead and hit this AI button, obviously we have some options for being able to write with AI, right? That's going to be what it kicks off with. And depending on what use case you're looking for, ClickUp breaks it down into departments, and it will give you some prompts and some ideas to kick off based on what department you are in. So if I'm in HR, let's say I wanted to create a job listing, it will give me everything that I need to feed it in order to create accurate writing. We're gonna go into popular. I'm just gonna do write with AI, and let's say this will be a team update for the week. Talking points include onboarding new client, reminding the team to track their time, and sharing over a resource for editing assets, we'll say. Tone of voice, we're gonna keep this casual. If you can't tell, I'm a pretty casual dude. And you can, of course, change the creativity to decide how much of a whim ClickUp AI goes off of. We go ahead and hit generate, and boom, we've got our team update for the week, diving into those action items that I gave it, right? Now from here, I can regenerate, I can copy it if I want to use it somewhere else. I can edit the inputs if I want to change what actually ClickUp AI was feeding this off of, but I can also just directly create a task or create a doc from this output and then continue to add context or change it. And if I want to do something else, I can do it straight from here. But writing is not where ClickUp AI ends. Common thing to do in ClickUp and any project management tool is breaking tasks down into subtasks, and ClickUp AI has got your back there as well. So if I come into a task that has context in the description or in the comments, and I want to break it down into subtasks, when I come to subtask, I can actually click generate with this AI icon next to it, and based on the information that it sees, it's going to give me a couple of options for subtasks that it thinks are going to be great ways to break it down into smaller bite-sized chunks. And all I have to do is hit create those 5 subtasks that it just created for me, and bada bing, bada boom, there they are. Another really cool way of using ClickUp AI is going to be in the list or various different view options that you have. So if I come and add a new column, when I look at text area, you'll see we've got try fill with AI. And when I hit that, I'm going to set this name to update. And now I've got a couple different fill with AI options. I can do an AI summary of the task, and I can also do AI progress updates based on changes. I can set the format that I want this to appear in, whether it's a bulleted list, a short, detailed, whatever that might be. And for progress updates, I can set the timeline for what these updates are going to be from. So 24 hours, 3 days, 7 days, 30 days. And again, I can adjust the format. In this case, we're going to do AI summary. And let's go ahead and break this down into a bulleted list. When I add that column, all I need to do is hit this column, hit this generate button, and it's going to spit out a description of the task based on, again, the description that is in the task and any associated comments, resources, etc. Now, whenever anything changes in the task, all I need to do is go ahead and hit that refresh button, and it's going to update based on those task changes. But I can also copy this text, making it really easy for me to, for example, share this task update with my team on Slack. Now, if I come into a document in ClickUp, for example, I'm using this one to reference the structure that I'm going to follow for this video. I can also access the AI with slash commands. I've got the option to write with AI, but I can also continue writing based on everything that is in the document already, which just opens up the floor for some creative options when you are writing out and filling out documents. In my time using ClickUp 3.0, it has been great. Not only do I love it, but my team loves it as well. And if you're on the fence or you're just interested in seeing if 3.0 would work out well for you, you've now got your answer. I would love to hear what features you've loved the most, what you're still looking to see, and overall how ClickUp 3.0 has been treating you. So if you liked this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what your thoughts are about 3.0.